it's Teresa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a product review as well as a project share for you. And this one comes from Crafter's Companion. It's the Gemini Create a Card Floral Jar, Dies, and Coordinating Stamp Set. Now, I did purchase this from HSN recently. I'd had my eye on it for a while, but then they put it on clearance and I decided it was time to check it out. And I'm so glad that I did. Now, this is the example that they give on the cover. There's also a sheet within that has instructions on exactly how, step by step, how to make the card. As you can see, it's very simple, only 4 steps, and you've got your card. It is a little time consuming. There's a lot of die cutting happening, but it's well worth it to achieve the end result. So without further ado, this is what I made with it. Now I chose to go with a little bit more sophisticated looking card than what was pictured on the packaging. This is a Mother's Day card from my mother-in-law. And it was a request by my husband that I make it for her using specific colors with a surprise element on the inside that we'll get to later. But as you can see, I cut all of my pieces out of patterned paper. And before we get too far into this, let me show you what comes in the set. Now, this is the set of dies that it comes with. There are 16 dies in total. This large die is what you use to make the base of your card, and it easily cuts through a double layer of 110-pound cardstock to give you a very sturdy card that you can stand up without any problem. I use most of the dies in this collection to create my cards, specifically the floral dies. I use the large and the medium and the small, and then this centerpiece. And I did layer my pieces, as I can show you here, with some foam tape to give them some dimension. And I really like that look. You can do it however you like. If you go, you can do a more simplified version, like what is pictured on this packaging, where they're not layered. That's a lot less die cutting, but still a fun look. And also included in this particular bundle that I purchased from HSN was the stamp set, and that looks like this. Now, I only used a couple of these stamps. I used this jar outline stamp, which I stamped in this Harmony Spectrum Noir Opaque Pigment ink in Oasis. And this is a great ink to use when embossing, which is what I did. And I used this Anna Griffin embossing powder in crystal clear, and I heat set that, and that gave me this look right here, kind of a shiny glossy look resembling a jar, which was the look I was going for. So I really like the way that that came out. And the other stamp that I used from the stamp set was the Love You stamp. But because this is a bouquet of flowers, it's not occasion specific, so there are lots of other stamps in here, as well as you could use stamps from your own stash and make it for any occasion that you want to. So a really fun, versatile set. Now, when I made my flowers, again, I'm going to refer back to the packaging. What they did is they used, it looks just like cardstock, plain colored cardstock, and it looks like they inked around the edges a little bit to give it a little bit of depth or interest. But what I decided to do was to cut my floral pieces out of patterned paper. And I really think that that is a fun look. And it, again, I was going for a little bit more realistic, a little bit more sophisticated look. And I really like the way that it came out. And the papers that I used, I mixed several different collections, which I often do. Most of the paper for the flowers came from this Sweet Magic collection from Recollections. It is a hot buy paper pad that was recently released. so I'm pretty sure it's still available at your Michaels store. I picked this up with making fairy cards in mind, but it just had those beautiful soft purples and blues that kind of worked with, the colorway I was trying to achieve, more of a lilac-y, hydrangea kind of look. So that's what I used for most of the flower petals. But I also pulled in some papers from this paper pad. It's Die Cuts with a View, Samantha Rose. And this one has rose gold foiling on some of the sheets. And the sheet that I used for the centers of the flowers was one of those. And it looks like this. And I just thought that I really liked the center of these particular flowers, but I wasn't going specifically for pinks. I was going more for purples. So what I did is I took the die set and I took this center die and I cut out just that center portion of these flowers. And I used that on some foam tape on these to put it in the center of these large flowers, and I really think that it gave it a neat look. And I used another paper pad to make the leaves, and that one is this English Rose Garden paper pad. This is also a Recollection paper pad. I think this was from 2019 though, so I don't know, your store, I know it's not available online at Michaels, but your store might have a pad or two lying around, you never know. Or you might be able to find it just in an internet search, maybe somebody's selling it on Etsy or eBay, but it's a beautiful collection. And again, I used that to create the leaves. And then the last paper pad that I used is this Spring Glitter Recollections paper pad. It's another Hot Buy paper pad from Michaels. Now this one was just recently released. In fact, I reviewed it in an earlier video, and I am in love with this paper pad. In fact, I am pretty sure I'm going to go pick up another because the paper is just so sparkly, and I just love the soft pastel colors. It's just beautiful, and I find myself reaching for it often. And I used that to make this little bow, which there is a die for in this set. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then in the center of the bow, I love my bling, so I used this set from Craft Factory Creations. This is a set I've had in my stash for about a year or so now. I originally purchased it at HSN, and I don't believe that they carry it any longer, but in an internet search you might be able to find it out there somewhere. And if you can, it was a really great value. I love this container for keeping everything organized. It takes up such a small footprint. It's got a lot of great colors to choose from, and I love the size of these. They're just very usable. They don't have adhesive on them, but I just adhere them with like a dot of art glitter glue, and I've never had any issues with them coming off. So highly recommended if you can find them. Now on the edges of all of my petals as well as my leaves, I did ink those just to define them a little bit and help to separate them from the background images. And for that I used the leaves. I used this Distress Oxide in Crushed Olive. And for the petals I used Distressed Oxide in Seedless Preserves. And that's pretty much it for the card. Now it does stand up like that for presentation. I think that it's just so nice. It's a great mantelpiece card, or wonderful for a desktop surface in an office setting. I think that the recipient is really going to enjoy a card like this. I certainly hope so. As I said, this one is for my mother-in-law for Mother's Day, and it was a specific request from my husband, who had some unique ideas in mind for it. What he asked for was a bouquet of flowers with a lavenderish, lilac-y kind of colorway. And one of my mother-in-law's favorite things are penguins. And so he asked that there be a penguin wishing her Happy Mother's Day on the inside. So that's what I did. Not sure that it screams Mother's Day, but I think it will make her smile, and hopefully it makes her feel very special and loved. So that is my share for you today. I hope that you enjoyed my project, as well as seeing the items that I used to create it. And I hope that in some way I inspired you to be creative. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I hope that you come back again soon to see all of the wonderful projects that I've been up to. I'll be posting videos very shortly. Until then, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.